We're just going to begin by putting some basic vocabulary down at the bottom of the screen so that learners of all levels can access this lesson. So, I am is estoy. Estoy, I am. Ayer is yesterday. Ayer, yesterday. And it might seem strange that we've got I am, present tense, and then ayer, past time phrase, yesterday. But we'll see how they connect up in a minute. We'll have last year, or as in Spanish, as we say, the year past. El año pasado. El año pasado, last year. Un año, a year or 1 year. And aquí, here. Okay, just to get familiar with this, how would you say, I'm here? Estoy aquí. Estoy aquí. Okay. Now the word for since, which we haven't put down yet, since is desde. Desde. So since is desde. Desde. How would you say since yesterday? Desde ayer. Desde ayer, since yesterday. How about since last year? What would that be? Desde el año pasado. Desde el año pasado. Since last year. Now in English, we would say, I've been here since last year. I've been here since last year. I've been. But to say that in Spanish, to say how long you've done something, you don't use I've been, or the present perfect as it's called. We just use the ordinary present. So in Spanish we say, I am here since last year. Not I've been here, but I am here. So how would you say, I am here since last year? What would that be? Estoy aquí desde el año pasado. Estoy aquí desde el año pasado. So I am here since last year instead of I've been here, which is what we would say in English. How would you say, I've been here since yesterday? I've been here since yesterday. What would that be? And of course it's going to be, I am here since yesterday. Estoy aquí desde ayer. Estoy aquí desde ayer. I am here, or I've been here since yesterday. How about, I've been in Valencia. I've been in Valencia since last year. I've been in Valencia since last year. And in is just N, E-N. So what would that be? Estoy en Valencia desde el año pasado. Estoy en Valencia desde el año pasado. Okay. What about if we want to use a year or a week or 5 days? And we want to say in English it would be, I've been here for a week. I've been here for 10 years. So we would use for. And in Spanish, that for is since how much time ago. So for 10 years would be since 10 years ago. For a week, since a week ago. And so the phrase is desde hace, which means since ago. Desde hace is what we use to replace for. So how would you say for a year? Desde hace un año. Desde hace un año. How would you say, I've been here for a year? I've been here for a year. What would that be? Estoy aquí desde hace un año. Estoy aquí desde hace un año. How about, well, let's introduce an extra verb to practice here. Let's use estudio, because that's easy to remember. Estudio, I study. Estudio. How would you say, I've studied here for a year? I've studied here for a year. And of course, in Spanish it will be, I study here for a year. What would that be? Estudio aquí desde hace un año. Estudio aquí desde hace un año. And what would it be if it was just, I've studied here since last year. I've studied here since last year. What would that be? Estudio aquí desde el año pasado. Estudio aquí desde el año pasado. Okay, let's introduce some more vocabulary so that we can generalize what we've learnt. So we'll start with some present tense verbs. So we'll have vivo, I live. Fumo, I smoke. Trabajo, I work. Estoy, I am, as we've just been practicing. Toco, toco is I touch. But we use I touch when we say I play a musical instrument. So instead of saying play the piano, it's touch the piano. So toco, I touch, or I play in terms of an instrument. And estudio, again, I study. And let's have aquí, as we've just seen here. And we'll have casado, married. And if the person who is married is a woman, then it's casada. So casado or casada. And el piano, because we can touch the piano, play the piano. And we'll have since, desde, since. And since ago, or for, as in we've been doing it for this amount of time. Desde hace, since ago. And some time. Ayer, yesterday. El año pasado, last year. 5 años, 5 years. And una semana, a week. Okay? How would you say, I've worked here since yesterday. I've worked here since yesterday. Trabajo aquí desde ayer. Trabajo aquí desde ayer. How about I've played the piano for 5 years. I've played the piano for 5 years. What would that be? Toco el piano desde hace 5 años. Toco el piano desde hace 5 años. How about I've studied here since last year. I've studied here since last year. What would that be? Estudio aquí desde el año pasado. Estudio aquí desde el año pasado. How about I've smoked since last year. I've smoked since last year. What would that be? Fumo desde el año pasado. Fumo desde el año pasado. How about I've lived here for 5 years? What would that be? I've lived here for 5 years. Vivo aquí desde hace 5 años. Vivo aquí desde hace 5 años. How about I've been married, and let's say it's a woman speaking. I've been married for a week. I've been married for a week. What would that be? Estoy casada desde hace una semana. Estoy casada desde hace una semana. Okay, so we're seeing now how we can use the present tense to say how long we've been doing something. And one thing to watch out for, that there are sentences in English where we would use since, but we would not use this structure here that we've been using, that we've been learning. An example is this. I have eaten 5 donuts since this morning. I have eaten 5 donuts since this morning. And it's saying how long, since when, since this morning. But the difference is that, in contrast to what we've already been learning, this sentence is not actually talking about the duration of something that's happened. It's counting off how many things have happened, how many donuts you've eaten. And you can easily test this sort of sentence because there is no way of replacing the since with for. So let's say this morning was 3 hours ago. We wouldn't be able to say, I've eaten 5 donuts for 3 hours. It wouldn't make any sense. So we can apply that test, and we know that in this situation, although there is since there, we could not use desde hace. Because in all the ones that we've learnt, we could always substitute the since with for. So use desde or desde hace, just changing the phrase around slightly. So for example, in all the ones we've looked at, we can say, I've lived here since 2 years ago or for 2 years. I've been married for 10 years or since 10 years ago, or whatever the date might be. But when since is used to say how much has happened, rather, or how many things have been eaten, how many cars have been driven or bought, whatever it might be, that's not looking at the duration, and so we would not use this structure of desde and desde hace. We would use the same structure as we do in English, the present perfect. So to say, I have eaten 5 donuts since this morning, we would say, I have eaten, he comido 5 donuts desde esta mañana. He comido 5 donuts desde esta mañana.